I'm going to show you how to acknowledge and comment on an event in PI Coresight. In the previous video, we saw all the different ways that we can view events in PI Coresight. Your events could just be informational, but they could also represent important process excursions that someone needs to acknowledge. You might also want to leave a comment on an event so that future users can see your comment when they're viewing that event. This is exactly what I'll be showing you. Let's say that we're a member of a team responsible for the operation of transformers. We need to keep track of all process excursions that might indicate that the transformer needs maintenance. So let's go look at all the events that occurred in the past 8 hours for this transformer by going to the Events pane. The first thing that we notice in the Events pane is that our events are color-coded, and if we hover over the color, we see that it represents event severity. So we have a minor, a warning, and a critical event that occurred in the past 8 hours. And we also notice that our critical event is still ongoing. In order for these color labels to show up in PI Coresight, the event frame severity needs to have been set in the PI framework. Alright, so let's go look at the event details for our ongoing critical event by right-clicking on it and selecting Event Details. If you watched the previous video, you'll notice that the event detail screen looks a little bit different. We still have our trend at the top showing us all of the time series attributes of the event frame and the related asset attributes table at the bottom. But this time we also have a table called Trigger Attributes in the middle. In our case, this event frame was triggered because the hotspot temperature exceeded a limit of the attribute hotspot temperature high. So this table actually shows up for event frames that are triggered based on attribute values in the PI framework. This table gives me a good idea of what my hotspot temperature was throughout my event. Alright, so now I want to let all my other teammates know that I have seen this event and that I'm taking ownership of it. In order to do that, I'll want to click on the Acknowledge button at the top here. Now when any other of my teammates comes to view this event in PI Coresight, they'll be able to see that I have already acknowledged it, so I'm on the case. In order for the Acknowledge button to be available, the event frame needs to have been configured to accept acknowledgements in the PI framework. Alright, so let's get started with our event analysis. So now that we've completed our analysis of the event in Excel, we want to let all our other teammates know what our findings were. To do that, we'll add a comment. If we want to add an attachment to our comment, all we need to do is click on the Attachment button here. By default, the maximum size of attachments is 7 megabytes, and only specific types of files can be attached, but your PI administrator can customize these limitations. When I'm ready to add my attachment, all I need to do is click on the Add button here. Once again, when any of my teammates comes to see this event, they'll be able to see both my acknowledgement and my comment, and they'll be able to see what exactly happened. One last thing to note is that in order to acknowledge or comment on an event, you need to have the proper permissions in the PI Asset Framework on that event frame. For more information on how to set this up, please refer to the PI Coresight Installation and Administrator's Guide, specifically the chapter Set Permissions to Allow Users to Acknowledge and Annotate Events. As we've seen, not only is PI Coresight a great way of viewing data for an event, but it's also great for adding additional information using comments and to collaborate between different people on the same event.